Hey, Brown Girl Banter.
It's your girl, Dr. Dangerfield.
And I am Dr. Patience.
Hey, we're back for another episode.
We are. You know what I was thinking about for this episode?
What's that?
We've added some followers to our page recently. I'm like, they should kind of thank you and who we are.
Yeah, because they catch a glimpse.
Yes. So just give them a 2-second quick bio of who you are, Dr. Danger.
Who am I? No. I am Dr. Lucretia Dangerfield. I am a licensed professional counselor. I work with other entrepreneurs and small business owners on helping them to maintain their mental health while they are growing and scaling their business. I am a native Nashvilleian. I graduated from a PWI, all three of my schools, which that's a funny thing. But I'm the oldest of 3 girls and loving life.
That's my girl. I am Patience Ruffin, Dr. Patience Ruffin. That's how we met. We met in the doc program.
Yes, in our doc program.
Yeah, so if you don't know that about us, go back and watch some other videos. And like our first video.
Yeah, and we talk about it.
Learn how we met one another. I am currently the owner, CEO of Counseling with Patients Private Practice. I am a mother of 3. I have a 9-month-old, 4-year-old, 8-year-old, wife for 15 years. I'm a high school sweetheart.
Congratulations.
Thanks, gal. I am currently trying to figure out what I want to do with the rest of my life. Not even the rest of it, like the next 2 years.
Next season.
Exactly. I am born in Atlanta, Georgia, raised in Detroit, Michigan, and have now been living in Nashville for 11 years.
Oh, wow.
It's been 11 years, which is crazy because me and my husband don't stay anywhere that long.
I've been here for 11. That's great.
Yeah, and so King's Kid, loving life, enjoying Brown Girl Banter. This is we birthed this thing out of love, and so we are just so glad that you are here with us and enjoying this episode.
Yeah.
Clink, clink. Here's to us. But welcome. We wanted to let you know a little bit about ourselves. So it's like, man, we've added quite a few people, and we had an opportunity to really let them know who we are.
We are and what we do.
Yeah.
And the fun part of one of the things she said, we birthed Brown Girl Banter out of love. It was truly birthed out of our conversations together.
Yes.
We would get together and we would talk about things over lunch, over brunch, and are just getting together talking about things that impact women of color, most definitely. And just like, we know other people are having these conversations with their friends. So we decided to share our conversations out loud with the public.
Yes.
And so you get to see more of who we are and what our interesting topics are. So we are starting out with our hot topic.
Yeah.
And for my hot topic is, should professional black women
The way she said
date
that,
outside our race? And the reason why I say that is I was listening to a podcast on the way over here, and one of the ads on the podcast was talking about black women, and especially those that are of certain profession or certain level in life. They're single, and should they think about dating outside of their race? But then also another piece is looking at some information on dating sites and things, that black women are considered, what they say, between the black women and Asian men, we're the least desirable. And that's because we have a different standard of beauty. And we also know that a lot of our black men will choose to date outside of the race. But we, as black women, I've heard plenty, because I asked, that's a question I'll ask some of the single women that I do, that come to my practice, and asking them about, like when they're saying, oh, I can't find anybody. I was like, have you ever thought about dating outside your race? And that's like, almost like me saying, have you ever thought about smacking your mom? Because they like, and I was like, but, we had to think about this. But then also looking at, prominent women, our own Vice President, Kamala Harris, her husband is a white man, and then also our new Supreme Court justice, her husband is white. So it made me think about, as we get to a certain level, especially in education, finding what we probably consider our partner, should we think about that? And then the other question is, what race should we look at? And it seems like more white men are willing to approach, step, question, ask, ask out. But are other races more open to it? I know a couple people date, black women, their husbands are Latin American, Hispanic. Then also those that we don't think about as a race, but it is Jewish, though, just thinking, are Egyptian, are actually going, and I don't know if we say this is outside our race, but dating men from the islands. Yeah. Is that outside,
Definitely. It's different.
So being able to open up and talk about it and then look at our options, because if we want to be married, we have to be willing to step outside the box.
And this is where we banter. So here is, I'm so torn on that because of many reasons. So one is, I have this conversation often about, if something happens to you, where is your wealth going? Is it going back to your community, or is it going somewhere else? And if we, talk about building up our community, pouring back into our community, we buy black, whatever. If something happened to you, where does that wealth go? Where is your significant other going to spend that money? What community are they going to pour into? Questionable. I mean, something to think about. Now, if you maybe have children, I still question it. I don't know. I question it. The other part is, so I don't know, this is something that happens to me often. So I have a lot of interracial couples that I do counseling for. Like, I don't know, I must have something in my bio that screams that's my personality. And man, if that is the choice you're willing to make, please, I say please. Hold on. I say please do the necessary work to understand the cultural differences, the geographical differences, know who you are, make sure they know who they are, and understand the extended family component of all of this. I am just having so many couples struggle that I see that are interracial with, and I don't know if George Floyd kicked this off or what, but just really struggling with being able. One of my clients, I said, you know, the woman you're dating, that ain't me. Like, so she is not going to understand your the struggle, the in-depth way you want her to, because that's not her story. And so you can't be mad and frustrated at her because she's not getting it the way you want her to. That's not her story. And so I think, and so they're seeing me because of this issue. I have another couple, like, she's married to a white male. Like, they are struggling with her talking about those white tears you cry. There's just this struggle that they're going with of understanding each other's ancestral insecurities or story or struggles or difficulties. So I say, if you do it with make sure y'all do some premarital, some couples counseling.
Well, everybody needs to do that.
Yeah.
And because it's some points that you made. You were like, you need to get to know each other. You need to dig deeper than that surface level of, I met him, he met me, and we're in this together. But you said some very key things, and I think on either side, whether whoever you're dating or whoever you're deciding to mate with, is that you do need to go into that history, because we could be the same race, but my experience may be different from you, because you said something about geographical, like, that's huge, being born in the South and, me dating a man from the North, or out west, those things, or like the way I grew up can be different, because we know people are so it is like, but I think you do have to take a deeper dive into, that whole history
And
when
like,
you're dating somebody.
yeah, I think ally is cool, but what is your definition of ally? And make sure their definition of ally is the same as yours.
Yeah.
Like
Values.
one person was upset, like, well, didn't know who Emmett Till was. Okay, well, you see, those questions you probably should have maybe asked a little earlier.
But I guess the question is, why is that important? But that's a whole.
It was a whole.
I know,
It was a whole backdrop story. But the person really, that was important for her to understand
the history
of black men and the dynamics of him coming into this relationship. It's almost like a foundational piece of her understanding the dynamics of what they're getting themselves into.
Another question is, are you willing to teach somebody?
Exactly.
And are they willing to learn?
And are they willing? And if their learning doesn't match your level of what's the pace we at here?
Yeah.
Just the discussions. Their discussions are different, and getting them to understand that has been challenging. But also, they're open to try to do the work, and that's important. So that's a good one. Y'all need to put some comments on that one.
Yeah. What do you think?
What y'all think? If you do, what do you all think are some key components that need to be considered when doing that? Mine is really brief, and it's not even really something that it's going to take a long time that we need to expound on. But I think we hit on this a little bit. It's just like, I have really been, y'all have got patience, let it go. I've really been troubled with black men and mental health lately. I just really have, looking at after the Will Smith situation and the effects of that on both the parties. Y'all know my homeboy Kanye. Just really, what are we doing to encourage our men to get the help that they need? Because they are imploding right in front of us, and it's almost like we're watching train wreck after train wreck kind of happen. And even those that we thought were so put together, so okay, so whatever.
They are breaking.
They are breaking. And I said to somebody, I think the people aren't taking into consideration, we have lived through a full-blown pandemic. And I was seeing some people I just don't understand why can't you see what's. I'm like, dude, you lived through 600,000 people died.
Yes.
You got some trauma. It's okay.
Right. We all experience.
But I'm so I wanted to say, my topic is more of a plea of if you see somebody struggling, if you know somebody who needs some help, if you have an uncle, brother, cousin, boyfriend, husband, anybody, if y'all need referrals for some good black male therapists, reach out.
Well, that's another problem.
We don't have enough.
We don't have enough.
It's very true.
Yeah, we don't have enough black male therapists because, as we know, we're getting to a place where we're getting more female that's coming into the field, but finding black males that are accepting new clients because they're booked and busy. But then also finding other community things that can help having those discussions.
I agree.
Because there's such a need, and then they tend to keep it to themselves.
They do, and I think
suffering in silence.
And that's a big thing. And I think that's part of the struggle of I keep telling my people who are my husband needs somebody, blah, blah, blah. I'm you don't have to just look in Nashville. Tennessee is a big state. You can look in Memphis, Chattanooga. There are other. Look all the state of Tennessee. We are licensed for the state of Tennessee.
And the other thing that's actually going to help in this, which is so exciting, is the compact for counseling. And Tennessee is becoming close to being one of the states that signed the compact. So if, with that will allow more leeway for therapists that practice in other states to be able to see individuals that live somewhere else. So that will help to expand the resources that are needed. But if you have males that you love, being that you love in your family, talk to them. help them
Yes, and
to
ask, yes.
be willing to open up.
Yes, and ask for referrals. Again, you're in a different state of Michigan, state of California, the whole state. You don't have to stay in your
you don't
city.
have to stay in your city. You go to your statewide.
That's the beauty of virtual now.
Yeah,
whole state.
That's one thing that the pandemic opened up is the use of teletherapy, telehealth.
Yes, so I wanted to encourage that. That's really just been. I was referring people all weekend to mental health professionals. So
and
I really want y'all to encourage you to do it.
Check with your insurance company, the provider list, and you can always ask for a Black therapist.
Exactly.
And they'll provide you with a listing.
Exactly. And the reason we also are really like pushing mental health and talking about, been getting some help, but mostly mental health is, what is this month, Lucretia?
Mental Health Awareness Month. Yes.
Y'all know we love it. Last month was Counseling Awareness Month.
This month is Mental Health Awareness Month.
I mean, how exciting is that?
Yes,
we love that.
We love
so
it.
we get to talk about mental health like all month long. Again, we talk about it all anyway, but this is really where you're going to see a lot of things, a lot of postings, a lot of information.
People talking about it.
Yes, and so we're super excited about that. And so along with that, our topic for today is really talking about identity. One of the big things we were talking about women and identity, but we were talking about and how identity impacts our mental health.
Yes, the whole questioning goes back to answering the question of who am I? Because identity, sometimes we see identity as a stagnant thing, that I have to be this person, and if I'm not this person, then I don't know who I am. But we have to realize the truth of identity is spanning across our lifespan. Our identity is going to shift. It's going to change because we go through different developmental marks in life, and we just. I always look at identity as fluid. It's not a linear thing. It's fluid. So, but the core of who we are usually somewhat stays the same. And both Dr. Patience and I were both believers, so our identity really starts at the core of who we are as being believers and knowing that we were created in the image of God and that God placed His Spirit within us. But how does that show up in everyday life with our gifts and our unique talents and skills? How does that look? So we have to be willing to, like, when you think about that. Like, it's almost like a mixed drink. I know what I'm talking about, but a mixed drink. And you have that core liqueur in there, and then you add these things, and then you shake it up to come up with this identity of what the drink is. That's us.
That's us. That's exactly that's exactly it. And I think sometimes we struggle with that because we want to be who we are right now. And I want and this is who I should be. And it's like, no, that's okay. And then we get frustrated with ourselves when we are not that thing, or we start to shift from that thing, and then we start to berate ourselves or get down on ourselves, and then our anxiety starts to kick up or something of that sort. Yes. And we find ourselves constantly having to remind individuals, like, it's okay if it shifts. If who you are shifts, it will shift. Yeah. And I know that that's scary.
It is, because that's leaping into the unknown.
Exactly.
Which creates anxiety. Yes. And the pull sometimes is you're trying to move forward, but then you're also stuck in the past piece, which that creates some depression because you're stuck in the depressive feelings, depressive thoughts, sadness that maybe I haven't gotten as far as I want. Or when you're questioning, like, "Ooh, who am I in this moment?" And it's like, "Oh, I should know, or I should know better, or I should have been doing things differently." But being able to experience that journey of identity, of getting to know who you are.
That's it. And I think I struggle just like everybody else. Of like, who am I? Who do I want to be? And a lot of times, if you have many hats, like y'all know, I talk about my hats all the time. Like, mother, wife, sister, friend, entrepreneur, daughter, all of those things. Sometimes who I am and who I want to be get lost. I mean, get completely lost. It was funny. A therapist said to me one day, like, he's like, we got to go back and pick up you because you back here somewhere, but all the roles and all the things that you do are the things that you are tending to nurturing and paying attention to. And so it's scary when you sit and think like, oh man, I've been all of these things for everybody else and other people.
Who am I for me?
But who am I? I have no clue.
Who am I for me?
That's a scary position to be in, and it can be overwhelming.
Oh yeah, because there's so much pulling at you, especially when you're thinking about those roles, and then you're like, oh, okay, in those roles, who am I? How do I show up? What do I need? What do I want? Because that's another thing. When you lose your identity, you don't know your needs, you don't know your wants, you don't know what brings you pleasure, because you've gotten, caught up in this, life.
Yep.
And life will dictate that, and then you have the social media, you have the news, you have outside world and people telling you who you should be. Because it's like, oh, a mom should be, or a mom should do this, but that's that war, and that pulls like, but what if that's not me?
Exactly.
What if I am, this is the way I show up as a mom, but being okay with it.
It's very true.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of like moms going back to work really struggle with that, because they're not sure like who they are supposed to be, how they're supposed to show up in that particular role, in that particular way. If you decide to leave women who decide to like leave their jobs and pursue something else, they struggle with the identity component of that. And then especially women who are in leadership positions, that identity, especially if you worked yourself up through the rankings, and so your homegirls or homeboys that used to get down with you over in accounting over there, but now you're the director of accounting, and they really get down with you the same. Like, you kind of go through this switch of like, okay, who am I in this season? Who am I in this moment? Who am I now? And that could suffocate you sometimes if you allow it to. It's how do you regain your power back from those moments where you're feeling like, I don't know who I am, or my job is telling me to be this particular kind of way, and that's not who I am.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah, and it goes back to a discussion we've had before, is about relying on your values. Knowing, what you value and your values as a family, as a person, as a leader. Like, what are your values? Because they usually are the same. And being able to honor that in what you do. And when you were talking about the whole shifts, like even going from employee to an entrepreneur, if you decide to take that, either if you are standing on both sides and you're an employee and an entrepreneur at the same time, then that, the conflict that are going from employee to an entrepreneur, and you're like, oh, things have changed. I'm used to people telling me what to do, or somebody mapping out the vision, but then conform to your own vision. What does that vision look like? What is the vision for my business? What is the vision for my life now? And so that plays a part in your identity, and being able to also not get pulled into what everybody else is doing, thinking it's supposed to be you.
Exactly. And that's easy. That's easy to get sucked into that and drawn into that. And so when we talk about, it can cause you to feel overwhelmed, it can cause you to feel anxiety, and you're like, well, what does that look like? Because a lot of times people are like, I don't even know that I have anxiety symptoms. I didn't even know these were depressive symptoms. I had somebody say to me, like, I'm going to see you because people were saying I had anxiety and I didn't believe them, but now I think it's true, And so if you find yourself, obsessively thinking of something or overly thinking, can't stop that from happening.
Procrastination sometimes, like not doing things because you want them to be perfect, or you're afraid that it won't work out right. Those things. Physical health issues,
your stomach, intestines, bowel, like all of these kind of things that just headaches.
Tired,
fatigue,
isolating.
Those
most definitely.
Undereating, overeating, those type of things. If you're recognizing, now those not all of them, y'all. So don't.
No, don't
be like, that's me.
Yeah, which that's a whole other conversation where people get diagnosed off of something they see in a video.
Oh my gosh.
That's me. No, there's more to it. There are other criteria that you have to meet the requirement to be someone, diagnosed with anxiety or something. Because that's why we do the work we do. Is to make sure that, we look at the frequent, when you come and talk, look at the frequency, the intensity, the duration, and the onset. That's big. We have to do those things before we can diagnose you.
Exactly. But we're saying if you're noticing some of these behavior patterns, if you're recognizing that it's lasting longer than we had before, or that you think is normal, seek out some help. Talk to somebody about that, because knowing who you are is a powerful thing.
Yes, because you get to show up the world is actually looking for you. The world is, I'm a firm believer in that. The world is looking for your uniqueness and who you are to be brought into the world. Because there's something that I believe we all are assigned to do.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. But if you're, too busy feeling drowned, like you're drowning in trying to figure that or overwhelmed by it, then you're missing it. And so while, identity is important, know who you are is important, you don't have to go at it alone or feel bad about yourself if you're not there yet. It takes time to figure it out.
It's a journey.
It's a journey.
It's a journey.
And it takes time. And the thing is, everybody's looks different, so don't think that you have to match somebody else's, or just because you figured it out before and this time it's taking a little longer, it doesn't mean that you're failing at it.
No,
it just means it's part of your story. Next chapter, new season, and so embrace that. Don't be afraid of it, but more we encourage you to embrace that.
Embrace who you are.
Embrace who you are, and embrace figuring out who you are. That it's a lot. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like it's easy to say it.
Oh no,
it's a lot, but it can be done.
No, we journey through that a lot.
Exactly, and when you do it, tell us about it. Let us know.
Yeah. What have you found to be helpful?
Yes, please, and share that with others. That was good.
Yeah, we have to say so ourselves.
We have to say that was good because you know what? We speak to you as
we speak to ourselves.
Now, that's our truth right there. We have enjoyed you all so much. We look forward to catching up with y'all in our next episode. Y'all please subscribe, share, like our information. You can find us on YouTube at where, Lucretia?
Brown Girl, one word, space, banter.
You can find us on Instagram at
I am Brown Girl Banter.
And if you're looking for my lovely co-host over here, you can find her
on Instagram at I am Dr. Dangerfield.
And if you're looking for this co-host, you can find me at I am Dr. Patience. It has been a pleasure. Y'all take care, keep bantering, and we'll see y'all next time.
Bye.